welcome to Agents of Travel. My name is Garrett Palm, otherwise known as Agent Sticky Toffee Pudding.
And I'm Rachel Van Ness, otherwise known as Panakukin.
And these are our secret agent names because we are secret agents for the Office of Tourism.
That's right, we're a shadow wing of the Office of Tourism, and our secret mission is to book people their dream trips.
But we can't just book them a dream trip willy-nilly. We have to interview them first and find out what their travel style is, where they like to travel, everything about who they are as a traveler and their previous travel experiences.
You could say we're well-informed and make well-informed decisions.
You could say that.
You could say that.
You could say that. I don't know if it would be true, but you could say it.
Yeah, and today our target is Liz Reichelt.
She is a writer's assistant on Bridgerton.
She is an incredible actress, comedian, and writer. She is truly the triple threat.
She is one of our favorite people. We have eaten sticky toffee pudding with her, but we have not eaten panakuchen.
We gotta fix that.
We gotta fix that. All right, let's jump on into our interview and Let's jump on into
Let's take her down.
Let's take her. Let's pick her apart.
Her.
Let's slam her.
Let's interrogate her.
Here we go.
Are you ready, Liz?
I'm ready.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
All right. Question 1. Liz, what is your travel MO?
Yes, I've been waiting my whole life for people to ask me this very
Great.
question. My MO when I travel is I don't like a strict agenda. I do some light research on Reddit and the Google before I go somewhere, so I know what's going on, but I don't have a strict plan of what I'm doing or where I'm going.
Reddit and Google.
Yes, Reddit is one of the best places to look up travel stuff because you have locals being like, go here, don't go here.
Is there any time it's like really paid off in a big way? Like, do you feel like you found some like nice treasures, or is it like kind of the more obvious stuff?
Yeah, some obvious stuff, but like a lot of like restaurants. Like when I went to Hawaii recently, a lot of people were like, you'll never get into these restaurants. Here are some places that are just as good that don't have as much of a wait time. So yeah, I like being very loose with my travel. And if I go with someone who's like very type A, if I know that they're type A, it's fine. But like if you go on a trip with someone and they're like rigid and it's like, this is what we're doing, and we have to get here on this time, then I get really anxious.
I've seen some itineraries that were like by the half hour.
Yes.
By like the 15-minute increments.
Same.
Yeah.
And that's Garrett's dad planning Disney trips.
Yeah, people that go to Disney they're the kind of people.
Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah.
No,
Shout out to Garrett's dad.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Once we were in Berlin and we met a lady on a walking tour who kind of latched onto our group. Like we didn't know who she was, and she latched onto our group and then tried to assert her schedule on
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Garrett, our friend Erica, and me for like the whole rest of the night. It was so insane. We got like this uninvited planner.
Yeah.
And you know what? Her friend ditched her. That's why.
Yep.
She's like, no one wants to hang around with those people.
Do you like to travel with other people, or do you prefer traveling have you traveled on your own?
So when I was at a college, I backpacked with a group of people, and so there's a couple, and then they went off, and then I was with one of my friends, and then we got in a couple fights. So there were periods of time where I was by myself. And
wait, I'm so sorry. What were you guys fighting over?
Well, I was 21 and I didn't know that he liked me. And we went on this trip and I was dating someone, and he was like, when I was like, I don't like you that way, he became not a gentleman. He was very mean to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go off my own. You go do your own thing. Nothing bad happened, but I was like, okay, we're not friends. Everything was fine. But it was an eye-opening experience. I would say I prefer going with at least one person. Like me and Rachel recently went to Portland, and that was so fun.
It was very fun.
Yeah, I like to think I'm an introvert and I like doing stuff alone. I don't. I like at least one person.
Well, it's always hard when you like have these memories and then nobody to share it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the boat? Oh, there's no one that remembers the boat.
No, but like I went to Spain by myself for a week because I really wanted to prove to myself that I could travel alone. And I also like kind of was like it was the dramatic side of aimless where I like just ended up drinking sangria and sleeping in parks by myself.
That's a good time.
Yeah, truly bumming around. But it's kind of nice to have somebody there to like
Yeah.
give you that push. Or like people it's like when you see a movie with somebody else too, and you're like, I don't know how I felt about it. And they're like, well, I really liked it. And you're like, yeah, this is cool. I feel like it's the same way with traveling. Like you can hype the experience afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've traveled alone a lot, and Rachel doesn't want to hear it about any of it. Rightfully so. Why would she? Have you tried planning a trip?
Planning?
Like, yeah, planning.
Oh,
have you
sure.
always been?
Yeah, I think that like when you make an effort and you try to like take someone, let's say that you've been somewhere and they haven't, and then you're like, okay, we're gonna go to this place, and then they're disappointed and you're like, fuck this, I'm never gonna plan again. When you like your feelings are hurt because you put an effort into planning something. It's like when you try to show someone your favorite movie and they're on their phone.
Yeah.
It
sounds like that happened.
Oh, it's happened with, hopefully my brothers don't listen to this. It's happened with my brothers a couple times where like I took them to Largo to see a show and they didn't like it. Or we went to New York with each other. Went to New York on a little family trip. And I feel like I took them to a few places and they're just like, okay, what's the hype?
That's so hard though. Cause did you take them to places that like had a lot of emotional significance to you that they just couldn't relate to? Or were you like, this is objectively cool and you guys are just lame?
I think objectively cool places. Like I took them to the speakeasy that I really love, Please Don't Tell. That's like you go through a telephone booth in this hot dog place. Have you guys been there?
Yeah. I've been to the hot dog place a lot. I never felt cool enough to go through the telephone booth and to the other side.
You're cool enough to be there.
I don't know.
But I've been there like at least 10 times, and I always take people there when I go on to New York. And my brothers were like, I don't know, it's fine. It's like, I'm wasting my time on you.
Yeah.
Are they just like not pleased by anything though? Because I feel like you could even be like, oh, this is like a cool environment or something.
Yeah, I feel like they're really picky.
Yeah. Well,
so that makes me not want to plan. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say it also makes it worse when I think they know you're putting pressure on it to be cool. Yeah. And they're more likely to be like, no, fuck this. I bet it's lame.
Yeah. People love to tear you down when you're putting in effort. But yeah, and then I've traveled with people that also are like loosey-goosey like me, and we're just like, isn't this nice? Like you find people that are the same way, and then it's very enjoyable, and it's like, we'll never plan.
Yeah, like you and I, like Liz and I, when we were in Portland, we just found one pie place we really liked, and then we just kept going back there, and we didn't do anything else. And it was so funny because we over 3 days we ended up walking 20 miles, which is pretty good. But we were walking so much because we were eating so much pie that I thought that like we weren't walking at all. I was so confused because I thought eventually after walking, like we wouldn't feel like shitting anymore and we would feel like more pie, but we could never catch up to how much pie we ate.
Yeah, we were so full the entire trip.
Yeah. But then you just had to keep on forcing it.
Yeah, because it was like, I'm only here for a few more hours. I have to try it.
Yeah. Although it was sad when it reached the point where you were going home and you had been talking about bringing a piece of Loretta jeans back. And then by the end of the trip, you were like, no, it's okay. I can go back.
Yeah, I was like, there's never going to be a point that I'll want to eat that. Because you're so full that you're like, nah, never.
Yeah. And we ate like 6 pieces of pie a day. It was too much.
But
that is a lot of pie per day.
Yeah, it was fun though. So my next question for you is, do you enjoy the act of traveling? Like, and by that we mean like, do you like being on planes and like looking out the trains, looking out the window on boats and stuff? Do you like being in that kind of motion?
Yes, I do. I do love traveling. I would say I prefer airports and airplanes. I don't like buses because I get car sick. I've had some great experiences on buses. Like I've met like a stranger and we got off on the wrong stop. And we played Uno at this bus stop until our next bus came. Like I've had like fun experiences. I was going from Las Cruces, New Mexico to visit my brother back to LA, and he was going back to LA. And it was like a random meeting where it wasn't weird. We just were like, talking the whole time. And then we got off on the wrong bus stop. We didn't exchange numbers or anything. And then we just like had a great time. I don't like boats because I get seasick. I love road trips. I love going on road trips alone. Maybe that's the travel I've done alone, is I've like gone to San Francisco alone and stuff. So I like airplanes and cars. I've
like
never
trains?
taken it. I want
You've
to
never
take a
taken
long.
a train?
Well, in Europe I did. Like I did
Okay.
overnight.
Okay.
Yeah, I like trains, but it was such a long time ago that I don't fully remember. And I
Yeah.
would like to do a longer trip on a train soon, maybe up to like Seattle or something.
Yeah. I like that because I feel like trains have that kind of like magical nature where it's sort of
Mhm.
like when the little food trolley comes by, I think it just reminds me of Harry Potter,
Mhm.
but something about it feels like a lot more magical than a plane to me, I guess.
Yeah, and you get to see more of the scenery. In a plane, you just see
Mhm.
clouds for 95% of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess some follow-up questions are like, how do you feel about, do you like airplane food? Like, do you get excited when the person's coming by?
Oh my gosh, yes. My favorite thing about going international is you get on all the different airlines, you get different types of food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved going to Iceland and I think England, where they'll give you tea every like hour on the hour.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
I was like, I don't need any more coffee or tea, but give it to me. I think that airlines kind of suck now, like
Mhm.
American and like, I don't know, the more domestic flights don't really have good food.
Yeah.
But I remember as a child when Southwest had hot chocolate chip cookies as
Oh
an
my
incentive.
gosh. Oh, that's so sad they don't do that anymore.
The best
Yeah.
airplane food I've ever had was domestic flights in India. The food was just amazing on every flight.
Oh yeah, I
It was
believe.
great. Yeah.
I believe they make a whole deal of it.
Mhm.
International flights.
Mhm.
Once this happened to me, it's never happened again. Once I flew, I think it was like Alaska to Portland, and they actually gave us like beer on the flight.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, and it was for free. I
Mhm.
think maybe a Portland brewery was doing a promotion or something, but it was
Yeah.
like, I was so confused. I was like, no, I don't want to pay for it. And they're like, no, it's free. It was so amazing.
Yeah, that there have been a couple domestic like Europe trip flying from country to country within that like region that they've had like free alcohol.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah.
I'll partake. I've always wanted to be the person at the airport who's like the person who goes to the bar and just like drinks a couple drinks and hangs out and like just looks like very
Yeah.
much like that's the place they want to be, where I'll just anxiously sit by the gate the whole time. But I'm always
Mhm.
so envious of like that life.
Yeah,
You know?
they get there early to do it. I've never been that person.
I've had a drink or two at the airport before where it's like I get to the airport at like 10 a.m. and everybody's having drinks at the
Mhm.
bar there. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll try a beer at 10 a.m. And it's like, so it's like this weird space where you can drink any time of the day and it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
There's nobody
time's
looking down.
different.
Yeah.
In an
Yeah.
airport.
Yeah, and you're right. Like if everyone else is doing it, like if it's like the norm, then it's like, well, yeah, I'll try it out.
Liz, have you ever gotten dressed up for the airport?
Mm.
No. I've gotten more and more comfortable where now I wear a sweatsuit, a matching sweatsuit tie dye
Oh,
on the
that's
plane.
perfect.
I have embarrassingly like in the past, I don't know like who I was dating at the time, but like in mid-flight, you're like, okay, they're gonna pick me up. I gotta put on some makeup. I've done that before, but like that was like early 20s. Like I would not do that now. Like you're getting what you get.
That's so amazing. So like halfway through the flight, you go and put your makeup on?
Like touch up. Like you know me. I've never
Yeah.
had a full face on a regular day, but it's just like, oh yeah, I guess I'll touch it up and maybe put a nicer shirt on or something. But have you guys ever dressed up for the airplane?
No, I don't.
No.
I think in my weird brain, I'm like, and these are the sweats I look sexy in. But like
Yeah.
I absolutely
Yeah.
like don't.
No, I feel like I've always like been about comfort. 2 jackets,
Oh, nice.
food. You know, I'm always about like
Mhm.
how can I survive?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm
And
always go ahead.
I was gonna say always bring the jacket that's gonna be a pillow later, and always bring the jacket that's kind of
Mhm.
like a backpack because it's what you put all your food in because it has all
Yeah.
the pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
occasionally
I-
the plane is so cold you need both jackets.
It's
one is a
true.
blanket, one is
Yeah.
a jacket.
I'm
Garrett,
usually
please.
wearing a lot just to not have to pack it.
Yeah.
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 To
Garrett
keep the
has
weight
like
down.
every electronic he owns
Yes.
in his jacket. It's like 20 pounds by the time he puts it on.
Yeah, that's my brother. One time we went traveling and I like packed for it because I was like, okay, he's like taking me on a trip. I'm gonna be nice. So I started putting his clothes in his like suitcase for him. And then he came in, looked at it, picked up all his clothes in the suitcase, threw them over his shoulder, and then started putting film gear in his suitcase. And he's like, he's like, I need one shirt, I need one pair of pants, and the rest is film gear. I was like, oh.
Wow.
Where were you guys going?
I think we're going to Iceland.
Okay. Yeah.
and
You got to take cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He films wherever he goes, which is very cool. But yeah,
What does he film?
Just like the scenery. He brings a drone. He like what people that we'll meet, he'll film them and include them in the video and send it to them and stuff.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, he doesn't need clothes.
I get it. Priorities, man. You just need memories.
You just need memories.
So Liz, you know, when you are coming up as a wee tot, do you have like a most iconic family trip?
Sure, yeah. Well, I grew up very poor, so we didn't go on a lot of family trips. But what we would do, I know Rachel's from California, so Modesto is close to Pismo Beach, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like
Ish.
3 hours away.
Yeah, same from Bakersfield. It's 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours away. And so I remember us going there for like a weekend and like going to probably to a timeshare. Like my mom knew how to like find the cheapest way to travel. And I remember like being a kid and being like, oh, okay, this is what a family vacation is.
I mean, were you vibing with it though? Like, did you like it? Or were you like, oh, I wish I was like, I just want to be watching TV in the hotel room?
No, as a kid, I loved it. As a kid, I really loved the beach and I would get in the water. Now, probably not as much. But that time I became very fascinated with hermit crabs and I collected a lot of them. I tried to take them home.
So you were there for like a week at a time?
I think it was like a weekend.
A weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a lot of just like free range on the beach?
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, I just remember being on the beach a lot. And Pismo's funny because it's the Bakersfield hot spot to go on vacation. And so like I like saw people that I went to school with. It's like that's where you run into people.
Was that fun to see everybody there? Or was it just like, well, I'm trying to get away from all of this?
I think trying
here
to
at
get
Pismo Beach.
I was gonna say trying to get away, but I think at that age in elementary school, it's cool to run into people you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So I think I was like, I'm on vacation too.
Yeah. Well, when you're people of the world, you want to see each other.
Mhm.
Exactly. We'll find each other.
Yeah. With these, okay, just circling back to these hermit crabs. Did you actually get to take any of them home, or did you ever get to have like a pet hermit crab, or was this just like a find it and leave it at Pismo kind of thing?
I think I took at least one home and it survived for a tiny bit.
Oh no.
I mean, I took it out of its element.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but I was
That's always
obsessed
fun.
with them because they'll like come out of the sand and they're cool.
Yeah, it's like catching tadpoles, but you're just catching hermit crabs at the beach.
Exactly. At that time, no fear, but now I'm very afraid of like animals and bugs. I wouldn't touch one.
Mhm.
Yeah, would you also run in a pack with like your siblings? Because I know your siblings are quite a bit older than you. Or would you like hang out with your mom, or were you like the kid making friends with a bunch of other kids?
Oh, I never made friends with other kids. I wish I did. No, I was too shy. So yeah, I'd be with my sister who's 6 years older, or my brother David who's 10 years older.
Yeah,
But-
just whispering to your hermit crab fam.
You're my friends now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never a social butterfly. I was always like pretty shy and stayed close to my family.
Yeah, that's fair.
Have you ever run into anybody that you knew as an adult while traveling?
Someone at Disneyland after I moved to LA that still lived in Bakersfield. And I think I scared them because they saw me and I think they thought they were seeing a ghost or someone.
Wait, why?
It's just
I mean,
like, you
Disneyland's
know, like,
not that far from Bakersfield. I
guess
feel
you
like
just
it's
don't
kind of
expect.
yeah.
You just don't
okay.
expect to see anyone. And then coming back from Europe, I ran into someone at the LAX airport that had
Yeah.
just DP'd a project, but it was like in the international section. So like that felt
Mhm.
weird,
Yeah.
but never in another country.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
Yeah.
That seems very cool.
It is cool. I've ran into my sister's best friend once in Bulgaria. We were staying at the same
Ah.
hostel.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was insane.
And you didn't know that you guys were both in Bulgaria?
Nope. Had
Whoa.
no clue.
That's
We
so
just, like,
crazy.
Got
What are
to
the
talking,
odds?
and then it turned like as we were talking, it was kind of more and more like, a lot of this is sounding familiar. A lot of this is like,
okay.
I think we have some people in common, and it turns out we do. It's my sister, and that's her best friend.
Oh, okay. So
Who
it wasn't
I
like
hadn't really
Amy.
met.
It was like
Yeah, no,
talking. Okay.
I had never really met her before, and it was we were just like talking, and then suddenly realized.
Did you hang out with each other after that?
I think I was heading out the next day, and then I've run into people at airports all over the place, but I can't remember who now. It's happened a few times.
I guess they're not memorable.
I know.
I ran into an ex-boyfriend at the Boston airport, and it was really awkward.
How long did you talk for?
Like 2 seconds. Like he was like, he almost like had to confirm it was me and then like bolted.
Yeah. I ran into somebody at Disneyland who recognized me because they worked at my favorite ice cream shop in Edinburgh.
Whoa.
They were Scottish at Disneyland here in California. And I had gone to that ice cream shop every day for like 6 weeks, every time I was in Edinburgh for the Fringe. And they were like, Garrett? I was like, yeah, you recognize me from the ice cream shop. Yeah.
They're like, have you tried the ice cream at Disneyland?
I was like,
what do you think?
No, I haven't. No, it's not as good. Not nearly as good.
Okay, because you've got some in your hand.
To throw into the river.
Yep. So Liz, what would you consider to be your best trip?
Also, funny enough, Bulgaria. I know you guys already know the story, but like I went for an improv festival and I went with 2 of my girlfriends and 2 guys. And then I don't know, but it was like a group of us from UCB out here in LA. And it was just like the most seamless trip. Like none of us had drama, all of it. Like it was enough people where if someone wanted to go back and like take a nap, they had people that would like latch onto that while the rest of us stayed out. Like it was just like we're drinking like all day, every day. And like it was just like, and then there was like one experience where we all went out to eat while we were hungover and we all got sandwiches and we're just passing the sandwiches in a circle, taking a bite as we like, it just felt like, and I'd also like had a not so great trip, like I think like a stressful trip with my brother, like maybe the year before. And this one was like, wow, it can be fun. It can be seamless.
I do love traveling.
I do love it. It also was like, if we had one bad experience, like if in London, we had some like bartenders be a little rude to us and we all had, wild. I don't know what it was, but
what did they say? Like, how are they rude?
We were just like, oh, hey, can we get a couple PBRs? And they're like, okay, like what else? And they were just, like very rude and just like rolling their eyes and like looking away from us and like did not want to help us. And it happened several times.
That is so, they're probably mad you're buying American beer in London, man.
That's the problem. We figured it out. But yeah, so we went to London for 2 days and Bulgaria for like 3-4 days or something. I made them all go to tea time in London, which was very fun. But it was just like funny. Like none of them have ever had. No, maybe Marissa and Nicole had, but I think Eric and Dennis had never had tea time. And so they were like, wow.
I know, because it's so many treats, but did everybody feel like absolute shit afterwards? Because I feel like my heart rate is always so high after high tea. Like it's, for me, one of those experiences that's like the most exciting and then like the most devastating afterwards once it's over.
Yeah. Because you just like, your eyes are bigger than your stomach and you're just like shoveling stuff in and like getting more pots of tea. Yeah.
I was just going to ask selfishly how it compared to like high teas you've had in LA.
It was better.
Yeah.
It was better.
All right. Fucking yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just was like everyone goes to afternoon tea. So it was like this hotel, churns it out and like their pastries were just like super good. And like more selection of teas.
Were people fancy, like dress fancy, or were they more like casual? Like this is just like an everyday thing.
The place that we went to, the hotel, it felt like people were meeting on business lunches. Like it felt like business attire, but like not fancy. Like people were just taking a break. Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah, that was like just a fantastic trip. Just like super easy. Great. Yeah.
Great crew. Were you more the person that was out all the time or more the person that would go home and take naps?
Out all the time. I can't take naps, and on the plane I can't go to sleep normally.
I can't sleep on the plane. Yeah,
I do my best work.
Out.
Yeah,
it's
I
my
wish.
superpower. Yeah,
it's good because then you're not like, you have less jet lag.
I don't know. I just sleep a lot.
Or that too. We got to get that checked out.
Yeah. Do you feel like you honestly just like didn't have as many expectations for Bulgaria and that's why it like really shined on that trip?
Yeah, I think it was that. Plus, Eastern Europe is just like
Yeah.
more like low key and casual. Stuff's cheaper. Like people are just like laid back. So I think it was like the combination of I really like that kind of culture atmosphere.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, like I was coming with friends for an improv festival for an improv team I was not a part of. I had never been to Bulgaria before, so I didn't have any like, I got to do this. I didn't look up
Yeah.
anything.
Not even on Reddit or Google?
Maybe I looked up restaurants for like, oh, had done the tea time thing. Like I really did some
Okay,
research
for
on like
London,
where to,
yeah.
for London. But we were with Artin, who's from Bulgaria. And so I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we're with him. Like he'll take us to
Yeah.
places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best when you have somebody
Yes.
to be your tour guide, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Love, we love.
Not to go on a downturn, but what was your worst trip?
Oh, yeah.
Liz?
My worst trip for many different reasons was going to Thailand. I like Thailand. Thailand is cool. I was with the
Yeah.
wrong person. I went with the person
Mm,
that pressured me to go. We were dating. They shall remain nameless. But yeah, they pressured me to go on the trip. I say they because you don't even need to know what gender. Maybe they don't need to know anything about
yeah,
that.
we don't have to know
You know,
anything about this person.
But it's worth talking about this trip.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We got on a tourist trap for this like
Yes.
this market, this like river market that
Yeah.
cost in Thailand nothing's expensive. And
No.
I think we paid $100 to go on this thing.
Damn.
But like
Jeez.
we had like driven 30 minutes out of Bangkok to go,
Yeah.
and we were pressured to be there. We didn't like have a way to get back. So we're like, okay, we have to go on this like very expensive tourist trap. And it was with a person who was very rigid and wanted to have every experience possible on the trip.
Mm,
And you're like, that's never going to happen. Let's
Yeah,
just enjoy the
it's
small
impossible.
stuff. But I ditched them at one point and I went to a spa and I got 3
Oh.
hours of a spa treatment. I
That
treated
sounds
myself.
amazing.
I
yeah.
treated myself. I took a bath in milk and it was the most amazing experience of my life.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I got
Um,
mango and sticky rice after the treatments. And then I checked back in with them and they had also had a good time by themselves. And it made me think, you know what?
maybe we should just go
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
Because we both were much happier.
That is so funny. While you were gone, did they like just do a ton of things on their list?
I think they walked around and like went to shops and tried some like street food because Thailand's known
Oh,
for like really
yeah.
good street food.
Mhm.
And I think that like they just tried a bunch of stuff that they didn't go far,
Mhm.
but they didn't have me going, I don't need to do this.
Well, also, so with this spa treatment, when you took a bath in milk, basically, what like I imagine like the texture is what feels really good.
Yeah, I think it was like oily because they also put like essential oils in it, and then there's also
Uh-huh.
like rose petals in it. It was
Oh,
nice.
that
And I was
sounds
just like
really nice.
I'm just in this room by myself. I would say it was too long. It was like a 30-minute bath, and I was like, I don't need to be in here for 30 minutes. Or maybe it was an hour. I can't remember.
Jeez.
That's like any bath. I feel like after 10 minutes, I just get too bored.
Yeah,
That's
and
nice.
too hot. It was too hot.
I went to Thailand and I thought I was going to hate it. I was only there 24 hours and it was one of the most magical 24 hours
Wow.
I've had.
Wait, which city?
Just Bangkok.
What made
I
it
was
so
just-
magical?
I was just passing through. I was on my way from Japan to India and I had a 24-hour layover. And it was so I was there during the new year. So
Oh.
and it was also the hottest time of year. And it was also during some protests against the government and riots. And so the
Wow.
yellow shirts, I think it was. And so there were no other tourists. It was just me and this person that I sat next to on the plane. We ended up just like hanging out all day in Bangkok with all the kids on the street playing, just doing this giant water fight
Oh, fun.
with squirt guns for
Mhm.
the new year.
A
it was
different
just-
kind of spa experience.
Yes,
Different.
like they would like
Free.
go into
Uh-huh.
traffic, pull people out of their cars, dump water on them, and then cover their face in menthol paste.
Whoa.
And the person would just be like, "Yep, Happy New Year, thank you,"
You got me.
and then get back into the car and drive on.
That's fun. That was
Yeah.
good sports.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The person that you were sitting next to, were they from Thailand or were they from
No.
somewhere else? Also, on
They're
the
from
layover?
somewhere else,
Ah.
and they were traveling to Thailand for like a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Very
like
cool.
the first night I just stayed like at a hotel, and the second night like I just stayed in a internet cafe until my flight in the morning.
Ooh.
Internet cafes, something we don't see a lot of here, but are
No.
everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like if I stay in an internet cafe or if I have to stay at like a bus station overnight while I'm traveling, I feel so sorry for myself.
I don't know. It was always such an
I'm always
adventure.
like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm roughing it in a hard way, which is like such a privileged way to look at it.
Yeah.
But
Sure. It does
yeah.
feel like romantic in a way though. Like especially if like you're with someone and you're like anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. We'll probably just sit here all night and be cold and not sleep very well.
Take many trips to the vending machine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Wait, have you been back to Thailand? Or is that your
No,
only
I
time?
haven't been back.
Well,
No.
you got to go to Chiang Mai, which is the northern city, because that was like my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like low key, sleepier. That's where I got my spa treatment.
Ooh.
Ooh, gotta get that spot treatment.
My one regret is because of the riots, all the restaurants were closed and there was very little
Oh.
street food out.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to try much food.
Yeah,
So
that does suck because the
I need to go
food
back.
lived up to the hype. Like
Yeah.
the street
Damn.
food, and then Chiang Mai, they have like northern Thai food is a little bit different. Like they have
Yeah,
more curried soups and stuff like that.
which I love a curd soup.
Khoi
love
khoi
it.
soy, right?
Yeah.
Khoi soy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, more porridges and stuff.
Which
yeah, great food.
leads me to this question, Liz.
Yeah.
What's the tastiest thing you've eaten while traveling?
Oh my goodness, what a question.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say in Iceland, their lamb stew was very good. And then also I went to Hawaii recently, and their shaved ice
Yeah.
is something else.
Yeah, I've heard
It's
good
something
things.
else.
Dang, the hots and the colds, the two
The hots and the
extremes.
colds. Yeah, and the our two favorites. And the lamb stew was like a food truck, which I love food trucks,
Yes,
right
Yes.
those are great.
below like their like main waterfall. And so it was like strategically placed. I love an activity that also has food.
Yes. So it's like enjoy this stew and watch the waterfall.
Exactly, yeah.
Basically.
Was it Golfoss? What Golfoss?
No,
Oh.
it's the one that starts with an S.
Oh,
'Cause-
yeah.
Because Goldfoss is like the like
Golfoss.
it's
yeah.
like a big, like it's almost like the like Niagara Falls type. It's like
Yeah.
a flat. Yeah.
Mhm.
This one was like the main, like it's very large. And you can walk behind it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like,
so
like Skullfoss or something. I don't know how to say it.
Mhm.
but it was like a food truck outside of the city at like this spot.
Yeah,
Beautiful
because it's such a
spot.
tourist trap.
Yeah.
It's not a tourist trap. It's a tourist stop. They get so much foot traffic that it just makes sense. It's like also it was during the summertime, and yeah, it's like a little cold, so soup is great. And they have
Yeah.
coffee and maybe like a donut or something.
Ooh.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds so
What was so good
good.
about this lamb stew? Like,
It just felt like home cooked. It just felt like really tasty. It didn't feel like you like had gotten it out of a can or anything. It just felt fresh.
yeah.
Oh, love that.
And I love an activity where there's food. Like going to the movies and getting a bunch of snacks is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Or going to a bar that has food behind the counter. Like
Yes.
in New
Mhm.
York, there's a really cool place that has like a hot dog thing, where if you get a drink, then you get a free hot dog.
There used
that
to be
sounds awesome.
There still might be one where you get a drink, you get a free pizza.
Love that.
It was
I
the
love
best.
it.
Alligator Lounge. I don't know if
That's
it's still around or not.
Ah,
It's almost like American tapas.
Yeah.
Basically.
yes. Yes.
Instead of
Yeah.
potatoes bravas, a little
Anymore.
frozen pizza.
Yes.
So, Liz, do you consider yourself a food-based traveler? Like, is that like a motivating factor in your travel, or is that just like a nice bonus?
Yeah. Like I feel like I went to Santa Monica yesterday with a friend, and the whole day I just kept on wanting to stop and get food. Like I
Yes.
feel like that's
Mhm.
an activity that's very important for me. Yeah, I would feel like that's like one of like the main attractions for me. What about you guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been to places with bad food, and it really detracted from my experience. I feel,
Yeah.
Yeah. I get like once when Garrett and I moved to LA, we ended up through a weird series of events. We ended up living out of the Grand Californian for a while
Oh my gosh.
in
in
Disneyland.
Disneyland. And
for a week.
Sorry, Disneyland, but there weren't the best vegetarian choices. I felt like I was like losing my mind because it was just like eating the same like veggie burger puck every day.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel like for me, like I'll have a full-on meltdown if I'm not eating good food. I get like really devastated really fast. And I think it just shows like food really is the highlight for me of every day. So if a place doesn't have good food, I just
yeah,
get
or a
depressed.
few options. Yeah.
Options are important too.
Yeah. Disneyland has so much money. Their food should be better. I'm sorry. Even the non-vegetarian options are bad.
Yeah. And they prove with the food festivals that they know how to make good
Disney
food,
Exactly.
but then
Yes.
they don't do it.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know.
very
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. It's not cool, but now I just get Ghirardelli Sundays and only go like for an afternoon.
Yeah.
I will say Epcot has great food.
Mhm. I would say good food.
I think it's good. Yeah, okay, good food. I think Epcot has good food.
Yeah. Hey, gotta go to Florida.
Gotta go to Florida.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of, Liz, what tourist attraction lived up to the hype, and which one should we skip?
I'll stick with a couple statues. I would say that the Eiffel Tower lived up to the hype, mainly because it's like a light show. I don't think you guys agree. Let me give you my reason.
No,
It's a
this
sore
is
subject.
no, this is a sore subject. But you go
You've
first.
told me
you
the
go
story.
first. You go
told me the
first.
story.
No, but we'll tell it for yeah. But you go first.
Our listeners want to hear. I would say the Eiffel Tower lived up to its hype. I did not go up it. I did not. I did what the locals do, which is you get a baguette and some fruit and some meat and maybe a fruit tart, and then you sit on the grass on a blanket and you drink wine.
Yeah.
But
and you just look
looking
at
it from a distance.
Yeah.
Another food-based activity, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I'm food motivated, but I don't even remember wanting to go up it. And then at nighttime, it like glistens and it's a little light show, and it was huge. But and then I won't go to my one that I don't like yet because I want to hear you guys' story about.
Okay, the Eiffel Tower is a sore subject for us.
So I've been up the Eiffel Tower a couple of times.
Was it worth it? Can I ask that real quick? Was it worth going up or was it
No, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine because like the thing you want to see in the Paris skyline is the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And when you're on it, you don't see
exactly.
it. I've been to the grass area, and then my favorite spot for the Eiffel Tower is the view from Sacré-Cœur,
Mhm.
the Sacred Heart. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. The hilltop with the cathedral
Yes.
and then just the steps
Yes.
overlooking the city.
I've been there. They usually have like a crepe cart.
Yes. And like you just sit there and you enjoy a crepe and you look out on the city and there's the Eiffel Tower and it's so beautiful.
I feel
that is a
like
good
Garrett's
So I took Rachel.
I feel
there.
like Garrett's stalling though, because I didn't get to make this decision that was the most beautiful view, because we, as a couple in the city of love, instead of going to the Eiffel Tower, waited for Garrett's ex-girlfriend for over 3 hours for her to
Garrett!
show up for dinner.
Yeah. In
a heavy downpour. Like we were gonna go see the Eiffel Tower, and I was like, oh well, this person's gonna be in town. We should wait and meet up with them for dinner. And so we waited for 3 hours in a.
Had you met her
downpour.
before?
Yeah.
Did you? I guess we shouldn't ask if you liked her because maybe she listens to this.
We weren't close friends by any means, and so we derailed seeing the Eiffel Tower to go and have a dinner at 11 p.m.
Yikes, Garrett.
Yeah,
it was. Look, it wasn't. It was because it was like one of those things like sunk cost where we were waiting and I was like, oh, maybe we had no way of contacting them, but they said they would be at this spot. And then every extra half hour, I was like, well, what if we walk away and they show up?
What if we
who just so happen to be in Paris?
What if we
the same time
abandon
as
our
us?
friends who made us wait for 2 hours for them to show up? What if that happened?
How were they when they showed up? Were they apologetic or?
One was
the
very
ex-girlfriend
apologetic.
The friend.
Mhm.
The friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Garrett.
I know. Everybody who I tell that story to thinks that Garrett is now my ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
Is he?
It should be.
No. I also didn't take you to the
Ooh,
catacombs.
I love
Which I would have
catacombs.
loved.
Yeah,
You
those were
went?
cool.
I
Yeah,
know.
those were really cool.
Yeah, I didn't go to the catacombs until I don't know I've been to Paris a bunch, but probably like my 5th or 6th
Yeah.
time in Paris. I finally went to the catacombs.
One of the good things with that school friend I was traveling with that ended up having a crush on me. We had a little falling out. Now we're fine. We've reconnected on Facebook. We're fine.
Oh,
He didn't apologize, but we caught up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he had been to Europe so much. He was like also a big traveler like Garrett, and he had gone to Paris so many times that he like knew what he like, you're gonna like this, you're gonna like this. So like the beginning of the trip, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm with the seasoned traveler. This is amazing. He's like helping me not waste my time on certain stuff. So I did see a
Mhm.
lot.
That's cool.
Do you guys does that happen a lot where you guys kind of like pivot both of you, not just for like ex-girlfriends, but do you pivot like your plans to accommodate a friend? Like, are you guys those kind of people?
Yeah, I would say we're big people
Yeah.
pleasers. And we're always like, oh, if we have
Yeah.
the chance of hanging out, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's like somewhere different and we're like, oh, whoa, this is crazy. We gotta do this.
I have a similar story. When I was in New York, I was like, I was traveling with an ex-boyfriend, not the Thailand person, but this was like years ago. And I had injured my foot and I couldn't really walk very well. And him and his friend weren't being very
Ooh.
accommodating. So I invited a girl who lived in Pennsylvania, who I went to a school with briefly. We kept in contact. I was like, hey, I'm in New York, you should come. And then I was like, great, she'll sit with me in a coffee shop. We'll just catch up. And then she got there and she was late. And then she was like, oh, you can't walk? Well, how about you sit in the park and I'll go do some stuff and then I'll come back and hang out with you. And I was like, what is happening? Yeah.
That is so sad to invite somebody to ditch you.
Yeah. I was like, wow, it's
Yeah.
happening again. Okay.
That's so heartbreaking. And so did you just sit on the bench and chill and
No,
live?
I tried to walk. It was like
that's right.
I
Yeah.
had pulled a muscle. Or not, I had what gosh, I've told you this, Rachel. What is it called? It's plantar fasciitis.
Fasciitis, yeah.
Fasciitis, yeah, where your muscle separating from your bone from like a dance injury. And I could walk on it, but it was so painful. And I was just like, well, I don't want to be left in a park.
That is so sad. I'd rather be in pain than be
Rude.
lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yes. Oh yeah, Liz, what tourist attraction didn't live up to the hype?
Leaning Tower of Pisa. Do we agree?
Whoa, really?
Have you guys been?
No.
I don't
That's
remember
why
if I've been.
you've
or
been
not.
there. You don't remember. It was
I
basically
know.
like a rest stop.
I feel like I did stop
It was
there.
disappointing.
and it was like,
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
people go take a picture and then leave. There's no good food.
no.
Yeah. It
there's
truly
nothing.
felt like a rest stop and there was nothing there.
That's always a bummer too, where
Yeah.
like this tourist attraction is like really built up and then you get there and you're like, all right, it's been 5 minutes. I guess we better get going, or is there anything else I can see in this?
Do I
that,
need to
like,
take another
makes it worth
picture?
staying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll take this stupid picture now.
I guess I'll
while I
pretend to hold it
up.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you one who's excited to see like the big tourist attractions, like to see like you want to see like the Seven Wonders or see like the big things that everybody talks about? Do you care about that
I feel
stuff,
like
or-
we have like, especially with the Seven Wonders, we have so much expectation. It's been in our history books. There have been documentaries. We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. And then you're going to go up and be like, oh, it's not as nice.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm like big on that. But if I go to a new city and I know like I'll be in Paris and that there's the Louvre, I'm going to go to the Louvre at least once. Like I like doing and seeing
Yeah,
things at
for
least
sure.
once. And then the next, like you said, you went to the catacombs the 6th time. I'll get that out of the way and then do more like local stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all, I almost feel like, it's like this compulsion to see the thing. And then
Mhm.
it's like, then you can relax.
Yeah. We've seen it.
It's done.
Liz, what has been your biggest fish out of water moment while traveling?
I'd say back to the airports. I had a 12-hour layover in a Chinese airport and I did not know how to get on Wi-Fi. I didn't like everything was closed. I couldn't really communicate with anyone and I felt bad
Yeah.
for needing it. I felt bad for bothering people. That and a Russian airport. Everyone hates you. They don't want to talk to you. You order a sandwich and they just throw it at you. It was both those airports. I was like, this is hard.
Even worse than London?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like 10 times worse. Both those airports were just, I mean, the airport in China, it wasn't like people weren't mean. It's just like, we just couldn't communicate with each other. And we were there at a time that like nothing was open and truly could not get on
Yeah.
Wi-Fi because the website was like all in Chinese. which is
Yeah.
fine. I am the problem. And then in Russia, they truly were mean. They were so mean. They were so mean.
Do you feel like people could tell you weren't Russian even if you weren't talking?
I don't know, because I've had some people in LA tell me I look Russian.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have passed until I opened my little annoying mouth.
Do you think people in LA might think you're Russian,
They
but
know,
the Russians know
probably.
better?
Yeah, that's a good
They're
point.
like,
they know. People that have no connection to Russia have told me that I look Russian.
Yeah.
The Russians see you in your little tie-dye sweatsuit and they're like, she's not from here.
Yeah. Any takeaways from those moments?
Don't let both of those trips were problems with the men I was with.
I feel like these men are following
I
you
know.
everywhere. You just can't get a break.
Well, one of them was my brother, and it's just because he didn't know.
Can't get away from him.
Can't get away from him, his family. Actually, no, we're learning that we can get away from family. No,
Yeah,
in China,
yeah.
the person I was with, they planned the schedule, and we got stuck at that time because of them. And so my takeaway was like, you have to plan your own travel. Don't give people, especially if they haven't traveled before, maybe like ask them some questions. And then the one in Russia, my brother had wanted to, like, we went fully across the country, went from Iceland all the way to New Zealand. And it was like 2 days of travel of just like constant, like, and again, I was like, maybe I should have like told him this is a bad idea. Men are the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I'll say, like, I've also been guilty of being like, oh, I'll get the cheapest flight. And then it's like takes 48 hours to go somewhere that should take 6 hours.
That's a money saving.
But then you can blame yourself.
Yeah, I did.
And that's fine. It's easy to blame ourselves.
Did they blame you? They're like, oh, this flight's taking so long.
I wouldn't even let them talk to get to that point.
Yeah, they knew it was their fault.
Yeah.
So Liz, if you could step in any moment from your travels, anytime you wished, which quintessential perfect moment would you pick?
Oh, anytime I wished. So like multiple times?
Yeah. If you're like, I'm like kind of like bored or I'm having a bad day, you can just like walk into this moment and you're immediately like there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe Belgium. I was in Bruges, and I think I had like the best time where I was just like going from chocolate shop to chocolate shop and eating so much. And I was gathering things to mail back home that ended up melting. And then like they have like a couple really great breweries. It was just like nonstop, like feeling like a kid in a candy store. And I think that if it's multiple times, I'd go back to that moment.
Oh, I love that. Were you with anybody or were you just kind of like on yourself vibing?
It was with the school friend that we had a falling out, but that was the beginning of the trip and that was fun.
Oh, that's when you were like young and in love.
Yeah. With travel.
That's so fun too. Melting all the chocolate on the way back. Were your friends and family like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. And then I sent back some like sausages from my stepdad and he was like, I think these are moldy.
Oh no. So you just sent him rancid meat.
Yeah. I just like truly like threw everything in a box and was like, people have to try this.
Was that one of your first trips abroad? Like in general? Like your first
sounds like you were making some
really
new
out of the
moves.
country?
Yeah.
Well, and also just like that first time abroad, that's even more meaningful. Like it really captures like the newness, the freshness of being someplace.
Yeah, you're right. It was the first international trip because I'd done like domestic trips going to visit my siblings in the military for like their boot camp graduation. But yeah, this was the first time. Yeah, because I had just finished college and I remember throwing a party so I could get some money to fund this trip. Yeah, and I think the first place was London for a week, which was way too long. And we were staying in a hostel with like you know, one of those hostels, it's like a huge room with bunk beds where you don't get any sleep for a week, for a whole week. And then I think Bruges was like this one of the next places we went where I was like, okay, this is great.
Yeah, don't underestimate sleep, man. It's everything.
It's everything.
Speaking of, what's the most stressful travel experience you had? So not like necessarily the worst, but the most like, oh, like I'm either in a dangerous situation or I'm lost. Or I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of this sticky spot.
Maybe when me and that friend parted ways and I hadn't traveled a lot and had to go on a train. Like we stayed in Cinque Terre in Italy and he stayed in one of the cities and I stayed in another city, which was a train right away. And I was by myself for the first time and I felt like sad and like I didn't know what was going to happen. I would say that. And then like when I went to Iceland with my brother, he had to work a bunch and I was like, we're gonna be going nonstop. And then he was like, I have to work on my computer until 4 and then we'll go travel, like we'll go see stuff. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, you're
And
like, I'm a bird in a cage.
I need to get out.
Yeah.
And we stayed not in Reykjavik, but like a city like 40 minutes away where there was like nothing. It was
Oh,
just
man.
a field. Yeah, it was an Airbnb. And
Yeah.
I was just like, had these high expectations of like, we're gonna, and he was like, we're gonna like be driving around, da da da. And I was like, why? And he got a car with a stick shift,
Yeah.
I think, where I couldn't even drive.
Oh no, you're just truly stuck.
Yeah. And I could have been doing, I think I watched like all of Community or something. Like I watched like every season of a TV show. I don't remember if it was Community, but I really just wasted my time watching
Sounds like
TV.
it's always men saving money.
Yeah,
that
Liz
ruins
hates
your
cheap
trips.
men.
I hate cheap men,
Yeah.
but I do love traveling and getting cheap food. So
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Trade the men for the food, and we've got a happy lady.
All right, Liz, before we tabulate and come up with your dream trip, we have one more
Yes.
question. Is there a local custom you've observed while traveling that you've implemented or wish you'd implemented into your daily life? For example, Rachel and I will occasionally do a custom that we picked up in Berlin called coffee and kuchen. It's all over Germany. It's like around 2 o'clock, they have coffee and cake.
Oh, I love that.
It's not much of a custom. It's just having coffee and cake at
We're
It's
tea time
afternoon.
people.
it's
together.
You know, it's exciting because usually you eat cake for dessert, but with this, you eat it in the middle of
Yep.
the day, which is very exciting to me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I do love that in other countries they give you a small little cookie when you get a coffee.
Oh, love that.
Yes.
But I would say, yeah. But I would say I feel like I had me and Dennis, my current boyfriend.
Wow, is he cheap? Is he cheap?
Don't be cheap, Dennis. Don't be cheap.
He could be talked into spending money, which
Okay.
it's not like I got
Okay.
money to spend, but when I travel, I really want to enjoy myself. But
Yeah.
the thing that him and I
Yeah.
have found that we really, really love when we're traveling is getting a hot tub on the balcony.
Whoa.
And we
Oh.
stayed at some really cheap place for my birthday, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago in San Luis Obispo. And I think that because it was my birthday, we're like, oh, they have hot tubs on the balcony. Like we'll splurge. And now like wherever we go, like, is there a hot tub on the balcony? And I wouldn't say that that's a custom, but I think it's the closest thing. It's
Yeah,
It's
No,
the
we'll
closest
take
thing
it.
I've like encountered where we picked it up.
Yeah.
Because nowhere else, I was trying to rack
Yeah.
my brain. There's like nothing I picked up but like that. Hot tubs.
I love that hot tub on the balcony.
In your own room is so cool.
Yes.
Is this something that you'd ever want to have in your daily life? Or is this something you want to save for like a special occasion, like a trip?
If I could have a hot tub where I live, sure. Yeah, I take it.
Yeah, go on the
Yeah.
balcony all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch all the peasants walk by. Yeah, of course.
Throw popcorn at them. Watch them fight over it.
Dance.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
So Liz, Agent Panakukin and I, Rachel, we
drop
haven't
the pretense and
used our agent names a
yeah.
lot. Yes. And we had a big
About how
conversation about it
important it was,
earlier
yeah.
today. Okay, so Liz, Rachel and I are going to present you with 2 different travel packages. You have 3 options. You can choose mine, you can choose Rachel's, or you can say none of the
Wow.
above on what
Or
your
you can
dream
pull
trip
from
would
both
be.
of them.
Or you can
Ooh.
pull from both of them. So 4
Wow.
options. All right. So Liz, listening to all that you've said here today, I think your dream trip would be to Oaxaca. I think you love food. Oaxaca is a city of amazing food all over the
I'm
city.
I'm listening.
And it's all cheap, good, quality, amazing food. The greatest chefs in the world in the kitchens all over North America come from Oaxaca. The techniques that they use in their kitchens are all incredible, and all the food, you can't find a bad meal in
Wow.
Oaxaca. It's also a city of chocolate.
Ooh.
There's a lot of good chocolate in Oaxaca. There are like things to see, like tourist things to see, and there's a great pyramid nearby. There's like this waterfall, kind of frozen waterfall, iced, and that's not iced over. It's like the minerals. It's all it's very interesting, but it's really about the vibe of the city. It's such a great city. There's great rooftop bars all over the
Ooh.
city. Mezcal.
Mm.
What else? Yeah, mostly the food. I think you'd enjoy Oaxaca for the food, and the people are all super
Nice.
friendly. Rachel, do you have
All
your
right.
plan?
Here's what I'm signing you up with. I'm setting you up with 2 weeks in beautiful Copenhagen. We're talking delicious pastries and being able to walk around the street and drink as freely as you please. This is a big hang town. You can bike a lot or you can just walk around. And also I'll send you there in the summer, which can still be overcast at times, so you can get a gloomy mood for your hot tub on the balcony. So you can chill in that beautiful hot tub. And, you know, you could also get a nice, okay, this is embarrassing. Copenhagen is in Norway, right?
Denmark.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
it's in Denmark.
Okay, I knew this was gonna happen. So
Also, Oaxaca, I'll send you with you.
oh
and
my
3
God.
Oh, well,
You're
you said
done.
that
You're
after
done.
you said that after your time. You said that after your time.
I'm saying that you're on this trip with a man who always over orders. And so anyway, so we're in Denmark, but Sweden's not far away. So they're very, very good. They'll give you a nice Swedish massage
nice.
while you're there. Very relaxing for when you're soaking in the hot tub later. So yeah, so you're with a guy. He's got deep, deep pockets and he's not afraid to empty them.
All right, Dennis is gonna be mad.
You know what? I'm gonna give Dennis some deep pockets for this.
Nice.
Which you will need them in Copenhagen because it's a little more expensive, but well worth it for the glamorous experience I've just pitched to you now.
Wow. This is hard. I have been to Norway. I didn't mention that at all, but Norway was very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've never been to Copenhagen.
Great. 2 weeks is a lot.
I was going to say the 2 weeks, you can't change anything.
It's a bit much.
2 weeks does seem like a lot.
You're right.
I'm just saying you could write while you're there. It would be nice.
That's true. I've never been to Oaxaca. I know you guys went. You had a really great time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Honestly, the cheapness of Oaxaca is kind of, pulling me in. But Copenhagen, I do love Danishes. I do love drinking on the street.
What about this man with deep pockets, though?
AKA Dennis.
I didn't realize we could do infinite money for next
did
time.
you remember?
It's a dream vacation.
It's a dream
It
vacation.
is a dream trip. Yeah.
And I can't combine both, right? I can't say one day there, one day the next.
You can pull aspects of one into the other, but you do ultimately
Yeah.
have to go to one, we'll say.
All right. Well, okay. I'm just talking out loud. I'm leaning towards, I'm not choosing it yet. I'm leaning towards Oaxaca because I've never been there or a similar country, which has been on my list for a long time. But I have been to a lot of places like Copenhagen. That doesn't mean Copenhagen's like all the places I've been. That's the hard part.
No, it's dirt. It's done.
I would say Oaxaca, but with Rachel's time frame, 2 weeks, because I think that would be nice. With the deep pockets would also be great. With the pastries,
There's great pastries.
but I want the Denmark one.
They're more dry.
They're
more dry.
They are more dry, but they're for dunking into coffee.
Made for dunking into coffee. What else did you say about Copenhagen besides the deep pockets, the hot tub?
Yeah, I had the hot tub on the balcony. We didn't have that in Oaxaca. And I don't know that you would want to go into it because it would be hot.
Oaxaca's in the mountains.
Truly both are like right up my alley. In Copenhagen, I'm only going to Oaxaca because I've never been there or similar place. But I would say the Copenhagen one is very close to everything I love.
Well, this is just to be in my bonnet because I've actually done more traveling of Latin America than Garrett. So the fact that he called that to his aid and won it.
And you've never been to Copenhagen.
Clearly not. I don't even know what country it's
in.
I would say
Copenhagen's great.
I'd say the Copenhagen trip has like a lot of the things that I love, but I'm mainly choosing Oaxaca because I've never been there.
All right, this one goes to Agent Sticky Toffee Pudding. Damn.
But you guys know me. I would love for you to plan a real trip for me, please.
We will.
Okay.
We will. I'll go with you to Colombia anytime.
We will.
Nice.
On my
I'm
list.
gonna hold you to it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for helping us out with our very super secret mission, Liz. We appreciate you coming in, and we'll get this info back to the National Travel and Tourism Office and see if we can arrange this dream trip for you.
Great. I'll be waiting by my phone.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That was our interview and trip recommendation for Liz Reichelt. I felt pretty good about that.
You look so smug and it's disgusting.
What's disgusting about being able to do this job well?
I don't
And
know.
having pride in that.
You're terrible to be around. These are horrible working conditions.
Hey, look, the Office of Tourism partnered us up together for a reason, and I have to just trust that.
I've got to, they're paying me a bigger salary than you to make you look good and to build
What?
your confidence. So.
I don't know about that. I mean, so far it's 1-0.
Okay, whatever. Well, Liz Reichelt was an amazing guest. We loved all her wonderful stories.
Yes, all of her stories and selections were wonderful. Where can we find her?
So you can find, I can't get out of that tone. You can find Liz at Liz Reichelt on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, that's Reichelt.
I know for a fact that she gets mistaken. Her last name is mistaken as Reichelt often. So
Oh,
don't make that mistake. It's
I didn't-
Reichelt.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's being alive is hard
Yeah,
enough, and
it is.
especially more so when people don't pronounce your name
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah, follow Liz for all the updates on her amazing writing and acting career.
She's very funny.
Very funny, definitely worth a follow, worth a
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah, that's it for today. We'll see you next week on Agents
Agents
of
of
Travel.
Travel. I thought we were gonna say something like "Stay sneaky."